Today's story's name is The Bitter Truth. Again, King Vikram Aditya climbed the tree and brought Betaal down. Betaal started laughing at the king's condition. Vikram Aditya remained silent. All right, king, here is another story for you, he said when he had laughed enough to realize that king was not paying any attention to the mockery. He continued his story. Once upon a time, King Chandradhar ruled over the country of Vaishali. He was a generous king. It was said that whoever came to his court seeking his help was never turned away. One day, a poor Brahman approached the king with his two young sons. His sons were blind. After respectfully bowing to the king, the Brahmin said, "Your Majesty, I am so poor that I cannot afford to even feed my sons. They will die if this continues for a long time. Please give me 10 pieces of gold so that I may start a business of my own." The king felt sorry for the thin boys and their poor father. He immediately ordered his treasurer to give the Brahmin 10 pieces of gold. The king asked, "When do you plan to return the money?" "Within a year, Your Majesty, I shall surely be able to return this loan," the Brahmin replied. But the king was not so satisfied, and what if fear disappeared with the money? He asked again, "Your Majesty may keep my sons in court until I return the money." Brahmin offered. The king began to wonder how could the two blind brothers be used to him. The Brahmin assured the king, "My sons have special abilities. The elder one can tell you the breed and nature of any horse and touches and smells. The younger one can identify and tell you about any gem that he holds in his hand." The king was pleased, and it was decided that the brothers would live in the palace with the king until the father paid back the loan. One day, a trader approached the king with a fine horse. A horse seemed quite healthy and strong. The king was impressed. He had almost decided to buy it from the trader when he remembered about the blind Brahmin boy who lived in his palace. He sent for the elder brother. The elder brother, when he touched and sniffed the horse, he told the king that the horse was a nervous one and would throw if of anyone who tried to ride it. The king had to test it. He ordered one of his courtiers to ride the horse. When one of his courtiers to ride the horse, when the man mounted it, the horse kicked and snapped and threw the poor man off its back. The king was worldly ruler of the village. Pleased with the elder brother, rewarded him handsomely. One day the king wished to buy some jewels. He called upon the jeweler and asked him to show some gems out of the gems. The jeweler had the king selected a large diamond, but before he paid the jeweler, he sent for the younger of the blind brothers. The boy, when he held the diamond, immediately told king of its reality. Your Majesty, this diamond is cursed. Whoever wears it would die soon. The puzzled king looked at the jeweler for explanation. The jeweler confused. He's right, Your Majesty. All the three previous owners of this diamond had died suddenly and in a very mysterious way. The king bought the large ruby instead and rewarded the younger brother handsomely. As the year ended, Brahman approached the king with 1,000 gold pieces. He asked. He had been successful in his business. The king asked the Brahmin if he too liked his sons. He had any special ability. Brahman replied that he had. He could see a person's past by holding his hand. The king demanded the Brahmin said something about his past. After holding the king's hand for a moment, the Brahmin said, Your Majesty, you are the worthy ruler of this large kingdom. Your father had been a thief who had looted many cities. The king was furious. Liar! How dare you say such thing about me standing in my court? He ordered the guards to take Brahmin and his sons away, and though the Brahmin had told the truth, but he and his sons were put to death. Tell me, king, who do you think was responsible for their death? The Betaal asked. Vikram answered, the Brahmin himself was responsible for his son's death. He should be wiser, telling the king the bitter truth. The king knew he was the son of a thief, but to have told in a public was embarrassing and harmful for his authority. It was understood that the Brahmin would have to face death sentence. Betaal's laughter echoed through the forest. I'm impressed with your judgment, he said. He returned to the tree. Today's story's name is The Bitter Truth.